Women who are therapists, what's your favorite and least favorite part of the job? I'm a registered psychotherapist and counselor. I also lecture on this topic. I loved this field when I was studying and the first few years I was seeing clients. I'm 6 years in and now I'm burning out real bad. I'm really considering quitting mental health entirely even though I'm constantly told I'm very good at it. Thinking about mental health and working in it is really easy way to screw up your own if you don't take care of yourself. We always tell our students and clients to prioritize self-care. Therapists aren't very good at following our own advice. I'm learning it the hard way right now. But when it was good, it was really good. I'm a licensed mental health therapist. My favorite part of the job is hearing when I hear that a client applied therapy techniques in their daily life and that the techniques decreased their anxiety or depression. My least favorite part of the job is dealing with insurance. Insurance is a headache to work with and brings on more paperwork than is necessary. I'm a licensed mental health therapist and addiction therapist. I spent my first few years paying my dues and working in nonprofit agencies and a methadone clinic. I finally made the leap full-time this year to private practice and I love my job. I love the freedom and that no one micromanages me anymore. My favorite part is exactly the reason I came into this field, seeing people make progress and positively change their lives for the better. It's always bittersweet when they don't need therapy anymore, but it's always my favorite part. My least favorite part is tied between writing notes and having to be accessible all of the time. I don't work weekends for my own self-care and I have a difficult time when my clients reach out during off-hours, weekends, holidays because it impacts my own self-care. While it doesn't happen often, it can be so draining when I'm doing something I enjoy but have to deal with a client issue on my off time and unpaid. But overall it's still worth it. And the money is way better too. I'm not a therapist but a social worker. I love when clients don't need me anymore or try new things in their lives with me on the back seat. The least favorite part of my job is not always being able to help someone due to financial restrictions. It really pisses me off to see someone suffer because there's no budget for the care they need. Mind you, I'm in the Netherlands. Edit. After reading small_og's comment. I forgot to mention the abuse I receive from clients and/or their relatives. I think I forgot because it's usually seen as part of the job. Talk about professional deformation. I'm a social worker and it's writing the notes at the end of the session or meeting with parents. I can educate and assist as much as possible, but if the minor or parents do not practice and do their homework, we cannot move on. My favorite part is feeling like I help people live happier, more satisfying lives. I get to meet a lot of people and in the moments where I know they're trusting me with their deepest, darkest secret, or they're sharing something with me that they've been scared to admit to themselves, is such a huge privilege. I feel really honored to be trusted with those moments, share them with my clients, and help them work through it. But it's emotionally exhausting and feels futile sometimes. My kids grow up in really violent areas with a lot of trauma and deep poverty. It's hard building someone up knowing you're sending them right back into the environment that traumatized them in the first place. I lost my first client to gun violence last month. It's hard, I still cry when I talk about him. But it also motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm a therapist. I work in the voluntary sector. It's really gratifying to see an improvement in mental health for those who wouldn't be able to afford it. I genuinely get joy out of treating people. It is a beautiful moment when something clicks for a client. The issues or the caseloads and pressures to go above and beyond can get overwhelming. Even with private practice friends, there's just so many people who need intervention. Also, training as a therapist is expensive. I come from a working class background and paid my way through myself as I wasn't eligible for student loans. It is pricey and then it continues to be pricey when you want to specialize. Most of the issues I have with the field are not client-based issues. The most important thing is working out why you want to be a therapist. For me it wasn't why I'd though originally. I'm still in university for physical therapy. I hope that counts. My favorite part is seeing the progress the patients are making and how happy they are when they realize how much better they are doing than the day before. My least favorite thing is how friends and family that I'm not close with at all are basically like, this hurts, you're gonna help me right? Massage me, pay attention to me, help me out for free, use your free time to take care of me. Another thing that annoys me is how everyone thinks that physical therapists are just masseurs. I'm a psychologist. I love figuring out the puzzles that are people's brains. I have a kid who is a normal kid, getting all A and B grades, then out of nowhere all the numbers fell out of his head. He can't read clocks, do basic math, anything. So I talked to him and tested him for an NVLD and TBI, but both came up empty, so giving him more tests on Monday. I love this aspect of my job. My least favorite part is always feeling like I have to defend it to the hard sciences people. Like just because you're working on a satellite doesn't somehow make your science more valid than mine. I can completely change the course of someone's life with my diagnosis. When you bonk your head on your satellite, you're coming to see me for your TBI follow-up, so tread lightly, Keith. I was a mental health therapist who worked in psych hospitals for 2 years, 1 year general and 1 year geriatric. I loved working with the clients and being there for them in what was probably one of the hardest times of their lives. You really get to see what people are made of in psych hospitals and the resilience that can come from within. I hated the bureaucracy and seeing firsthand the large gaps in the healthcare system in the U.S. We would do everything in our power for the clients, but some would just end up back to us in a couple of weeks because one part of their aftercare plan fell through. I also had a boss at my geriatric psych job who was just so incompetent, so that really brought me down too. I got out of the field last year because of it.